Baby, baby, baby. I ain't gonna never get on the Pat McGrath's PR list. Lord knows I want to be on that PR list so bad. But I can either suck up to Pat McGrath to get there, or I can keep it real with my subscribers and probably never get there. So guess which one we gonna do? We're gonna keep it real and we're gonna spill the tea, honey. Welcome to the channel. My name is Torrence, and in today's video, we are playing with the Pat McGrath Holiday Collection. This is the Celestial Divinity collection that she's done for Holiday 2020. And although the only things that I purchased this year were the eyeshadow palettes, I wanted to do a tutorial and give you all my first impressions review on things. I'm wearing all 4 palettes right here on the eyes. Of course, I couldn't get all of the shadows on there, but I wanted to play with as many of the formulas as I possibly could and let you know how I feel about this collection compared to last year's. I purchased all of the eye palettes from last year as well as this year, so I have them here for comparison. And I think you all will be really shocked by what I think about them. So if you want to know my opinions, just go ahead and continue to watch. Baby, 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 let me tell you, it ain't nothing quite like cleaning all your brushes, cleaning the house, getting everything together, and then waking up the next day and destroying it all. We got fresh, clean brushes here, honey, as you can see. This one managed to get stained somehow last month, oh God. But we still love her. And although we got fresh brushes and a fresh, clean face now, baby, it's time to cake and bake it all, so let's get into it. Let me put y'all to the side real quick. Actually, I keep the eye brushes here for now. But as stated earlier, we are doing the Pat McGrath, I believe this is called the Celestial Divinity collection here. This is for our Holiday 2020, and I have all 4 eye palettes. That is all I gathered from this collection this year. I truly believe I have enough Pat McGrath lipsticks, enough glosses, and the highlighter just wasn't quite my color because for a pink tone highlighter, I wasn't willing to go above $60. I'll wait for it to go on sale. But the 4 things that we are talking about today, first off, we have the Mega Mothership Celestial Divinity palette. This is what the box looks like here. And as you can see, it is a very reflective, it's very pretty. On the back, we have all the ingredients here for all of the shades. It also states that this has a 12-month shelf life, so we have that here. I'm going to give you a preview of that. The packaging looks just like the box here. It's the same thing on the front. Oh wait, yeah, they do have the words here. It's just the only difference is the words here are a lot smaller than they are on the box, but that doesn't bother me. On the back, instead of having shade ingredients, we have the shade names here. You know, Pat McGrath is infamous for not giving us the shade names. They're usually on a card on the side of the palette instead of actually printed anywhere on the palette. Me personally, that doesn't bother me. As long as I can reach in and know what shade I'm grabbing, I'm okay. But when you're doing tutorials, it does make it hard when you can't just look at it and tell exactly what it is. And I am truly ecstatic for this palette because 1, I missed out on the Star Wars launch. Most of us did, and we let Pat McGrath know we was not feeling that launch, honey. Everything went crazy. But if you know Star Wars fans, you know you got to get on it real fast. They don't care about it being makeup. All they know is it's memorabilia for the movie, and they want it. So we didn't get it. But here we can see, almost gouged it, baby. Oh, caught that real fast. This palette here contains the 6 palettes from one palette she's done before with the Star Wars, which are these 6 here, as well as these 6 here. The 6 in the middle are new to this palette, I believe. I believe that is true, that all 6 of these are new to the palette, but they could possibly be some repeat shades. But I don't have any of these 18, so I'm extremely happy to have it, especially since this was a birthday gift from my Aunt Karan. So thank you, Aunt Karan. I'm finally doing a tutorial with this one today. Next, she released 3 eye quads here. These are part of the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad collection. The first palette comes in this purple box here called Fleur Fantasia. It looks almost like the larger palette, except it's much smaller. And when you look at the packaging here, this is not cardboard. This is that luxe plastic packaging that we absolutely love from Pat McGrath. And when you open this up, you see that we do have 4 shades that do lean a little purple here. None of these contain her special shades. We have 1 matte and 3 shimmer shades here. The next quad is called Interstellar Icon. This one comes in a blue packaging here. Once again, it looks the same as the others. It's just a different color box. And this is what the inside looks like. Although I am not the biggest fan of blue shades, and you all know that, that blue there looks absolutely stunning to me. This one does not contain any of the special shades as well as it does not contain any mattes. This has 4 shimmer shades. This one here looks to be a satin while the other three looks to be metallic, but I love Pat McGrath's formula, so I'm not worried about that in any form. This last quad here is called Risque Rose. This one here comes in the pink packaging, and this one is the only one that is exclusive to the Pat McGrath website. If you want any of the other three, you can go to Pat McGrath, or you can pick those up in Sephora, in store, and online. So this was the only one I did have to go online and purchase myself. The first one was a gift from my Aunt Karan. The second two, I managed to get a Sephora $100 gift card. So this is the only one I had to come out of pocket for. And the difference between this being a Pat McGrath exclusive is the fact that this one has a 24-month shelf life. The other three that I showed you previously only have a 12-month shelf life, so that may be something you want to take into consideration. And this is what this one here looks like on the inside. This one contains one matte here, and it also contains 3 shimmer shades. This one up top appears to be more of a satin. This one looks like it'll be a shimmer metallic, but this one here looks like it is probably the most full shade out of all of them. I haven't tried any of these 4 palettes because I wanted to do that on camera so you can get a true first impressions from me. But this one here, just looking at it, he looks so thick and so creamy. I'm just waiting and looking at it like, if I don't use it today, baby, I promise you I'm gonna find a way to use it in the future, because the texture of this one looks like one of my favorite Pat McGrath shades. I don't remember the name of it, but when I see it in the palette, I instantly know it. And I'm gonna show it to y'all later on. And I completely forgot to mention that with the holiday collection, these 3 quads are now $58. Last year for holiday, those quads retailed at $65. So we are saving $7 with this year's collection. And now that I've given you with a preview of all of these palettes here, what I want to do is figure out what kind of eye look I'm going to do. Since they all family and they all came in the same collection, honey, we're going to treat them like family and put them all on the same eye. So today, I'm not sure exactly what kind of look I'm going to pull off, but I'm about to open all 4 of them, and we just gonna go for it, honey. As per usual, I'll make sure I leave all tools and products used in the description bar below, but we just gonna jump into this because I'm not sure what I want to do. And because y'all know I like to go over the top sometime, or I'm gonna be completely natural, we doing the most today. I wanna try to use at least one shade from all 4 palettes, and just looking at this one here, normally I would go in with a matte in my crease, but this don't look like she gonna bring nothing to the table, honey. So we're gonna go ahead and skip past that and use this one here. This shade is called Lavender Blue, and I'm gonna use that as a transition on the inner half of my eye. Honey, I know a lot of people tell y'all you can't use shimmer in the crease, honey, and I used to be somebody who believed that same lie. It's all about making sure your colors in the crease are a little bit darker and don't have quite as much shine. Anytime I'm doing one of these looks, I usually try to make sure I use my satins in the crease instead of a metallic shade. The last thing you want to do is have a color up here that barely shines and one that's supposed to be deep in the crease that gives off a high shine foil, so it no longer looks like that part of the eye has sunken in. And because this lavender blue shade looks more satin, we're going to go ahead and blend that in the front half. Okay, and she's going straight on, no issue. At first she did look a little ashy, but because this is a lavender pale blue, trust me, she gonna come through for the girls. And another thing I've come to realize is shimmers tend to blend a little bit easier in the crease than mattes do. And you saw just how fast and quick that went on there. And you know, Pat McGrath is known for her editorial looks. So we're gonna go ahead and try to put our Pat McGrath into this, baby. I'm acting like I'm on the runway today, sending these models off. We're gonna go ahead and jump to the other side and get that going. All right, and baby, you can already see we are starting things off with a bang, honey. Look at that. Honey, I am feeling this so far, so let's see what else do we got. What else do we want to add? We need another transition shade, sis. And because I'm not worried about things looking subtle or natural, honey, we're going for over the top. We're going to go in right here with this shade, Rose Rebellion, and use this as a transition shade for the outer half of the eye. And just on my first attempt, this color was a little harder to pick up, but it is more satin, so I'm hoping that she does blend like a dream like that first one. Go here, try to get that in and up. And although She is blending very beautifully. She didn't go on quite as easy as that first shade here. But as you can see, that color is definitely coming through. Okay, so she starts off a little difficult, but she comes through in the end. And we're going to buff and blend that out far past where we want it, because we can always clean things up with concealer. Considering the fact we are being editorial today, honey, we don't mind going over the top. And just to see if I can get a little more pigmentation out of this, and to see if it's a little more buildable, I'm going to go in with one more layer just to see what we get. Okay, yeah, so she is buildable. I'm liking that. I'm going to fluff this all the way up. Leave the tiniest space beneath the brow. Okay, honey, we're going to go ahead and do that on the other side. And I'm telling y'all, I have no idea if this is going to turn out beautiful or not. Sometimes I just go in and I already know exactly what I want to do. Other times I look at it as, it's just makeup, honey, and I can always wipe it off if I don't like it. I ain't going to a wedding or nothing like that. We sitting in the house today. Alright, honey, look at that. Got me feeling like a unicorn in this bad boy. And if it's two things I love, it's unicorns and kitties, honey. You could buy me a t-shirt, a jacket, a cup. If it got a unicorn on a cat on it, I want it. For crease shades, we want to go in and get things a little bit darker. So I'm going to go in with this shade here, Venomous Void, a little bit lower in the crease on the inner half. Whoop, baby, I forgot I wasn't dealing with one of them shimmers and tried to go in heavy with that brush, honey. That product came up real strong. Talk about some who you playing with. Considering that's that soft and buttery, honey, I hope you come off on the eye like that. But let's see. Ooh. See, Pat McGrath said you're going to stop using my name in vain, honey. You know what I come about. So we're going to blend that in rather low. You want to take that to the halfway point. Then you're going to buff it up. You want to make sure some of that first purple shade sticks out still. Okay, we're getting a little more depth going on. That's what I'm talking about. And because that shade was so pigmented, I do not want to go back in and dip again. We're just going to diffuse the edges of that. Okay, y'all see we starting to get a little crease going on because I got hooded eyes, honey, so I need to see them crease colors shine through for me. I'm going to jump ahead, do this on the other side, and I'll be right back. Now for my lower crease on the outer half, I'm going to go in with this shade here, Blue Blood. This shade looks a little satin too. It may even be a really high shine color, but because it's much darker, she'll give us a little more depth in that area. We'll go ahead and see. And truth be told, she almost coming off as that last shade. We'll see if we can build her up, get a little more dimension to it. I'm not sure if this is translating on camera, but in person, this shade here appears to be a little cooler and a little shinier than that first shade we put in the crease. But I'm not thinking in camera that that's going to translate. We're just going to keep going because we done already did it now. Yeah, in person I can tell because I'm looking up close. Even from conversation distance, I don't think nobody else would. Buff that out on the edges. And I'm not even going to put that on the outer V. We're going to save that for another shade. Then we're going to jump to the other side. Alright, so far I'm 50-50 on things. I personally wish that that crease shade would have came off a little different. Now before we go in with lid shades, I want to go in and cut my crease. And because we doing dramatic looks today, baby, you know we cutting it high. I'm going to put this down. And of course I'm cutting the hair of my lid, honey. I want to bring this in front and then bring it up. And we're going high, high. A little more product. Make sure my entire lid is coated. Have this other side. Now that we've used 4 different shades already for the crease areas, I'm trying to figure out how can we use 4 different shades for the lid. Not sure which way we're going to do this, but because I want to make sure my outer V is the deepest part of my eye, we're going to pick up this quad here and we're going to use this matte shade here to just deepen up our outer V. And I completely forgot to mention the shade we're about to put on our outer V is called Mink Noir. Okay, and I'm just press this just on the tiniest bit right there because she truly is the darkest matte. And I just need to make sure that area sinks in. I don't even believe I have to do 2 layers of that. Okay, Pat. That's the one thing she always been bomb at, is a good matte shadow, baby. Although she makes my favorite shimmer formula, that matte one is nothing to play with. Okay, we have that down. Now it's time to get into some of these metallic shades, sis. All right, now that we are on the lids, I am over here looking at this shade here, Dragonfly. It looks like a green duochrome, and since the day I first opened and looked into this palette, I've been interested in it. So we're gonna put this shade here on the inner half of our lid. All right, can we first get into the fact that 1, this picked up beautifully, and 2, I can already see that duochrome flip on my brush. Like, I'm just sitting here doing like this, going back and forth like, oh baby. Let's hope she don't disappoint. And although I cut my crease in front of the eye, we're only gonna take this right here to the front, and that very little spot in the middle we're gonna leave for a very bold inner corner highlight. So bring this down, and we wanna make sure we keep this only about halfway to leave shade for another color. And we're gonna test out to see if she's buildable and go in with 1 more layer and see what we get. Okay, she did improve a little bit on the shine and pigmentation, but not much. So it appears if you do things right, you can get full opacity with 1 layer. Go ahead and do this other side. Honey. And y'all know blues ain't my thing, but this shade here, Hypnotique, she looking beautiful, so we're gonna put that on the outer half. And with the shade Hypnotique, in the beginning, it was a little difficult to pick it up off that first layer, but after that, it did come off beautifully. But it's about how do it apply to the eye, because shades like blues, purples, and reds can be a little difficult, but with Pat McGrath, we're not expecting none of that. Okay, is that a duochrome as well? She looking like it. This looks like this might have a little blue to purple flip to it. I want to blend these 2 shades together so it's not one straight mighty line there. And I'm telling you, that color that they are blending to create in that middle, that is pretty. Go ahead, do the other side. And when I just dug in to get it for this eye, it came off much easier. So it had to be that first layer that was pressed hard on there. Yeah, see, like it's even applying to the eye a lot easier now. Now that we have this much done, I still have 1 more color that I want to put on my inner corner, and that would be this shade here, Iridescent Orchid. The thing is, I would like to normally finish my face before I go in with my inner corner highlight because I bring my concealer up really high. So I'm going to cut away, finish off the face, and I'll be back to show you how we'll finish off the eyes. We're back and talk about doing the most, honey. Normally, I do not like doing lashes or liner because I truly feel as if they take over the look. And as someone who has to wear goggles for work, the last thing I want to do is have some lashes on because I hate when I feel them just bumping up against here. But today we figured since we doing Luxe, we doing expensive, and we feeling expensive, honey, we're gonna go ahead and bring out all the big dogs. So for lashes, I'm wearing my Lily lashes in the style Doha. These are my absolute most used lashes from the brand. They give you a little drama, but to me they're much more subtle just because they have a flare that leans more toward the outside. And I feel as if that gives me a slight lift to the eyes because I have hooded eyes. And as someone who just doesn't like doing a wing liner, one, because they never turn out twins. They always sisters. But I said, you know what? We feeling ourselves today, so I went in with my Fenty Beauty Fly Liner in the shade Cause I'm Black. Did a small wing on both sides. You can see her there, but she's not taking over the look, and that's what we needed. For the waterline on the lower lash line, I went in with my Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Glide Eye Pencil in the shade Blitz Blue. It looks like it's a black on camera, but in person you can tell that's a dark blue. More than likely, I probably wouldn't repurchase this. I would probably get a lighter shade just so that you can see it's blue on camera. On the lips, I went in with my Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in the shade Bare Rose. I took this and I lined the outside of my lips very heavily, and I did not blend that in. I'm not sure if you can see that there. You can see where that line looks rather strong here, but then I topped it off with gloss because I know that'll soften up the look later on. And for gloss, I went in with my Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in the shade Alien Angelic. This is easily the second most used gloss by the brand for me. That Bronze Temptation is my absolute favorite, but this is a close second. And the day I seen her drop this, I had to have it because I was previously in love with a matte lip gloss. This one is called Sugar Coat. It was a limited edition one with the Nico Panda collab. I bought it just for this cap here. The fact that all of the lip products had one of these on it, I had to have it, and this was a shade I had never seen before. These two, I'm telling you, they are identical in color, but this one is like $10, $15 more in permanent. So I always use this on myself whenever I'm not around people, but anytime I know I'm going to be in public or show off, I just wear the Pat McGrath one so people know they can get this one. Underneath my lashes, I'm wearing mascara, and today I went with the Full Frontal Volume Lift and Curl Mascara by Fenty Beauty. Had to show my wife some love. And because I was feeling rather expensive, for blush, I went in with my Tom Ford Cheek Color in the shade 03 Flush. I absolutely love these. I have about 3 Tom Ford blushes. I think they are the most expensive blush in my collection. And this color here just gets me. I don't care what brand puts out a color like this. I absolutely love it. And for the rest of the face, I'm trying out the Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation again. The first time I wore it with the Huda Beauty palette, I decided to put it on as thick and heavy as I could because I'm known to go back and forth. Some days I like a thin layer, some days I like it really thick. But if I'm testing out a product, I put it on as heavy as possible because if you don't look good then, I don't even want to know if you look good on a light day. And although I have not worn this for 16 hours as it claimed, I can tell you, after 6 to 8 hours, I still had no reason to block my face. Normally I get really oily right here. So far, I am truly loving this foundation here. And for highlighter, normally I go in with my Fuego highlighter from the Dose of Colors with Desi and Katie collab. I wear this on most days. On top of my Fuego highlighter, I went in with the Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Skin Highlighting Trio. This palette here contains 3 shades and I'm wearing 2 of them. This middle shade here, Fine Gold 003, I decided to put that on the nose simply because that's what's going to stick out the most and I need that to be as neutral as possible. I also took that up on the forehead simply because I don't need anything accentuating that. But because we are bringing the drama, this first shade here, Iridescent Pink 003, I decided to put that on the blush here just to make sure that popped out a little more pink, as well as putting that here above the Cupid's bow just because I'm wearing a pink lip combo. Now that I've shown you what all I've done off camera, we have to go back in and finish off the eyes. I know we already said we're going to put this shade here, Iridescent Orchid, on the inner corner. So what I want to do is go in and finish off the lower lash line before we come back in with that shade. And simply because I have green on the top of my lids on the inner half, on my lower lash line for the inner half, I'm going to go in with this shade here, Megabyte. And I'm just going to take this straight on a pencil brush. I'm not even going to worry about a push liner brush today. We're just going to go straight in. See what what we get. Okay. She has a nice yellow gold hue to her. And because I'm extra on a little more flare to that, we're going to go in and do a second layer. I am getting some fallout, but considering this is a pencil brush and a shimmer shade, that was expected. And then we're going to go ahead and just do the other side. And just because we're going for the drama, on the outer half of my lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this purple shade here, Violet Void. Just going to use that same pencil brush. I've already wiped it off on the back of my hand. We're going to go in and see what this looked like. Because to me, she looked like she, let me get a little bit more. She looked like it has a black base with purple reflex. But we're going to find out. Okay, that's cute. She's not as dark as I thought it was going to be. Which honestly is a little bit better because we don't need a black shade with reflex. We got enough of those. Alright, and I'm loving the fact I can see the difference between those two colors. Not sure if you're going to see that on camera because I have long lashes. But we're going to keep this going. For our brow bone highlight, I want to try to keep things subtle and neutral. So I'm going to go in with this shade here, Golden Polaris. And I want to pick up the smallest amount of this because we don't need that to be loud. And she looked real creamy. Oh my goodness. We're just going to hit that up. Oh yeah, see? Yes, ma'am. She's giving us what we want. We're going to go ahead and do the other side. This is beautiful. I want to try this shade by itself. And now for the shade I'm truly excited for, Iridescent Orchid. I'm going to load up my brush and use that as an inner corner highlight. Now we're going to take this, and I want this color to be banging and booming and loud. Like I want to put it on heavy. And see, that's cute now, but that ain't enough for me. Go in with one more layer and bring her up and out. Put that on this side as well. Okay, yes now. Just to take this look like to the next level, doing the most, I've been staring at this shade here, Gold Standard, and had no idea what I want to do with it. So what I'm going to do is scrape a little bit of this out of the pan, put it on a metal tray, and I'm going to mix that with some Inglot Duraline and use that to create a new eyeliner on the eye. And I don't want to spill anything, but you can see I have a tiny bit of product right here on this tray. I'm just going to mix that with 1 dot of Duraline, and if I need to add some more shadow, I will. But then we're going to use that with the e.l.f. Ultimate Angled Liner Brush, and we'll use that to cut our crease. And as you can see, with that Duraline mixed in, you could just take this, swirl them together, and now we have a new waterproof eyeliner. And what I'm going to do is just take this and use this to line right along the edges of where we cut our crease. Things do not have to be perfect. This is just to add a little extra drama, and I'm only going to take it to about the halfway point there. Really want that to be prominent. So it doesn't have to be the thinnest line, but you can see this side compared to that side. Baby, we feeling extra luxe and extra glam. Go ahead and hit this side up. Whoop! Girl, do you see that? My bad. See, makeup don't always be perfect, sis. Don't be feeling bad about it. But what we're going to do, simply because I don't want to risk messing with that while he's still wet, we're going to let that dry, and then we're just going to top him off with some more eyeshadow. So let me look. We did that green. Let me go ahead and grab a little bit of that. I just told y'all we was going to wait for that to dry. I ain't patient enough for that. We're just going to top that off right there. We're just gonna pack it on till we get up and close to that area. Trust me, sis, I ain't gonna tell nobody if y'all don't tell. I'm gonna grab a different brush, clean that up right there. What mistake? She might not come out looking as perfect as the other eye, but sis, I keep trying to tell y'all, things only have to be sisters. They don't have to be twins. Use this to clean up on the inside a little bit. And she just gonna have to deal, honey, because I ain't got it in me to be worried about it all day. Now it's time to set things. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All-nighter so things last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Gonna give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And this is the final look. I'm gonna go ahead and give you all a full face view of things before I give you my final thoughts. And baby, I'm here to let you know, although I'm really feeling this look, gotta break down a few pros and cons for you all. It's very rare that a product comes out that's completely perfect, you have no issues with it. But with these 4 different palettes, the reason I decided to go in and we're all 4 is because I had no issues with the quality, and going in I truly didn't think I would. But considering the price point and considering my collection, there are a few things that I need to point out. First off, if I had to say, do I recommend this palette? I'm gonna go by each one. This one here, simple yes or no, we're gonna go with yes. Fleur Fantasia, would we recommend? No. Interstellar Icon, would I recommend? Yes. Risque Rose, would I recommend? No. Now it's time to break down and get into each reason why. Before I tell y'all what it is, let me look at my laptop and get some of these final notes going. Let me see. Okay. Alright, yeah. Alright, here we go. First things first. With this palette here, the Mother Mega Ship, the Celestial Divinity. I really like this palette. The fact that we get her largest collection of shadows at 18 and we only have to pay $78, I don't see how you can beat it. The pan sizes are not as big as normal, but you know what? Whoever hits pan and whoever runs through a full shadow. And if you're going to give me almost double the amount of colors for less than the price of your 10 pan palettes, I'm here for it. And it made it even more special considering the fact that I missed out on the Star Wars collections. So to give me 12 shades that I've been looking for that I didn't get, that's an extra pro right there for you. The con for me with this one is the packaging. As someone who's used to buying Pat McGrath palettes, I'm used to her being a luxury brand. She's far from drugstore, and to me, she's much higher than high-end brand. When I think of high-end palettes, I think of that $60, $70 range, and although this fits that, she's a brand that's known for putting out $125 palettes, and with those, the only thing I've ever complained about was the price. The formula was good, the variety of formulas was good, and the packaging, in my opinion, of all the brands that uses the same packaging palette per palette, Pat McGrath got them topped off. I used to love my Tom Ford ones, but Pat McGrath came in with that very first one and just snatched the title right from under him. So to see this one here at cardboard, it's like, and I like her cardboard packages. It's just with this one, everybody was wondering, how is she offering these palettes at such a discount? And to me, it's because she cut corners with packaging. This is a sticker right here on top. Although all of this is one paper piece and these are raised up on the paper, which is what I would have preferred, this is just a sticker that was put on top. And trust me, all it's going to take is for this to get dirty or for you to get it wet. And this looks like this has the potential to come off. The same thing goes on the back. Instead of having that just printed there, it's just a sticker put on top. And it's like, sis, why you do that? On the inside, they did give us a very large mirror, something I'm appreciating. The thing is, I can't show you without blinding you on the camera. There is a sticker that goes right around the edges of this mirror, and you can see it right here at the edge. As well as the corners here, they're folded over, like they folded one end over and then folded this end down, and you can actually see where that creases and meets right here with that sticker on top. And to me, it just cheapens the brand and this palette. When I think of Pat McGrath, I think of, like I said, luxury, and the only complaint I'm gonna have is price. Although we did save money and we got this at $78, me personally, because I'm spoiled, I would have rather paid $125 and got an upgraded packaging. Looking at this, I truly don't think I would ever have any reason with depotting this thing. Cutting this up, tearing it apart would not hurt my feelings at all. Doing that with one of her larger ones never crossed my mind. So of all of the palettes that came out with this collection, this is the one I would recommend the absolute most because it's the most bang for your buck. The shadows are absolutely wonderful. The number of shades you get is wonderful, but the packaging to me does not say high end. The only thing I can say she did a really good job with the packaging is instead of allowing this to just fly straight back and land, open, it has these two strings here on the sides and they seem to be sturdy. So when you just open it up, it catches itself like that. That to me, yeah, that was an upgrade to do for this palette, but it's like, this packaging comes off as cheap. It doesn't say luxury high end to me, but I'm absolutely ecstatic that I have it. If for any reason it gets lost or damaged, I would be willing to repurchase this, but I would be upset that the packaging is not up to par. For the next three, this is where things get funky. The pros for these is the fact that one, she's reduced the price down to $58 from last year's quads. And we're gonna start off with this one, the Fleur Fantasia. The reason I would not recommend this is because one, you only have a 1-year shelf life on these, and two, the colors are basic. Online, I thought this would be the most dramatic one, but you only have this one matte, which on my skin tone, the only thing I can use that for is a transition shade, but you didn't give me a crease shade to use with it, so anytime I see this palette, I see myself having to go in with something else to help assist it, and that's why I did not want to do a full look with this. I knew it was going to need something else. And with this shade being rather pastel, she's beautiful, but I would prefer on the lids. But if I do put something that light on the lid, I'm going to need something really deep in my crease because I have hooded eyes. And with this being $58 compared to last year's quads, which were $65, I really enjoyed those quads. I have one of last year's quads here called Iconic Illumination, and to me, this one set the standards for her quads. First of all, although they look almost the same, and I believe based on weight, they're only about a gram a piece from each other, this one here, because trust me, I weighed them all. This one here for Iconic Interstellar weighs a total of 121.9 grams. This one here for Fleur Fantasia weighs 121.6 grams. So only 0.3 across from each other. That's not much. The difference is last year's quad had a metal backing to them. This year's quad has a plastic one. And although she did finally listen to the fans and give us a label right here that has the name of the shades there, I think this metal one looks so much better with things being engraved in them because to me, this says luxury. It says we use extra materials, it took extra time, extra energy and effort to pull things off. With this being all plastic with a sticker on top, it's like, okay, it weighs a little bit less. It's made of cheaper materials because plastic is cheaper than metal, so no wonder it's a little more affordable. But then you also get inside and you realize last year quads were her 4 special shades. These are the ones that when we buy those mothership palettes, we want to see the variety of these. And I'm quite sure, I don't even have to ask Pat McGrath, I'm just going to say allegedly, based on my opinion, that this formula costs a lot more to make. Most basic eyeshadows are just pressed eyeshadows. Inside you can see that there is a pan here, and there's usually just loose product put into a pan, it's pressed by machine, and then you just keep on going. So to me, it's easier to manufacture a formula like most regular powder shadows. With this formula, I'm quite sure this is something that's baked because you don't have an actual magnetic pan or anything inside of here. These shadows are poured into a mold, and usually there's a netting underneath there. And with these, they're extra creamy, they're extra high shine, and you can use them rather soft as a topper, or you can go in with full opacity and use it as a lid shade. But if you were to ask a Pat McGrath fanatic which formula you like, these are the ones that we go after. And when she does her 10-pan palettes, she always gives us 4 of these, and we can never get them anywhere else besides those 10-pan palettes and these 3 palettes that she did last year. So considering the fact that these are only $7 more than these, it's like, would I rather have metal on the back or plastic on the back? I want this. Would I rather have her special formula or her normal formula? I'd rather have this. And to know that it's only a $7 difference, nah. These from last year are the ones I would have got. Another thing on why I really like this one though, is she did upgrade the amount of product with Fleur Fantasia. Last year, these came out to a total of 6 grams of product. This Fleur Fantasia has 8 grams, but like I said, it's 8 grams of colors that more than likely I'm always gonna need something else to use with it. And it's cheaper packaging, so it's like, no ma'am. The other one that I said I would not repurchase is the Risque Rose. Instead of 8 grams like the other ones, this one only gave us 6.88 grams. So not only is this formula not as good as the special formula, the packaging isn't as good. And to know that the other 2 have 8 grams and this one only has 6.88, it's like, why would I pick the quad that has the least amount of product out of all 3? No ma'am. My guess is the only reason she cut back on product is because it has a formula that lasts an extra year. So that may be a pro for others, but considering the fact I disinfect my makeup after every use and I have palettes from 4, 5, 6 years ago, I'm not really upset about this. The only one I said I would repurchase is this one here. This one is the Interstellar Icon. It has 8 grams of product. It still has that plastic backing, but the only reason I would have picked this out of all 3 is simply because between all 4 of her holiday palettes, this is the only one that has a blue shade that seems unique, and this one has the darkest shade that I can use in the crease. As someone with hooded eyes, I know I can take this shade, put it in the crease, blend it up as a transition, and go in with any one of these shades and have a full eye look. Would it be simple? Yes, but it would still be a complete look. And with this having the most unique shades, this is the reason why I picked that one. It does have 8 grams of product, but once again, I would have rather just paid an extra $7, got that metal backing in her special formula instead of a matte and shimmer formula. And then when you think about the fact that, let's say you did want to get both of these, and just to show you why I would not purchase these, I wanted to pull these side by side. This is the Risque Rose and the Interstellar Icon from last year. Now imagine purchasing both of these palettes and it comes to $123. Yes, you have 4 special shades. Yes, you can experience her matte and her shimmer formula. But now you have 2 palettes here and you only have 8 shades. Her normal 10 pans are $125. So to me, instead of getting any of these quads, if you have the ones from last year, you're going to be in love. To go from last year's quads to this year's, I think you're going to be disappointed. And instead of buying any of these quads, I would just recommend saving your money and getting a full mothership palette. She's $125, but when I tell you, honey, she's worth it. Just holding this thing here, baby, she is a thick, heavy, weighty package. The complete metal backing here, everything's engraved. And then when you get to the inside, you have 10 shades in one palette instead of searching for 2 palettes to get 8 shades. You get 4 of the special ones here, which is the formula everybody goes crazy for. And here we have 3 mattes. Instead of going after those and only getting one, I have 3. I have a transition, I have a crease, I have a liner shade. And in this one, which is the Mothership 5, you got my favorite shimmer color from all of them. I absolutely love this shade, and I'll tell you, I don't even know the name of that shade. I just know she's so beautiful. Every time I see her, I know exactly who she is, my fave. So I would recommend, if you have the money and you want to go all out and you want the true Pat McGrath experience, get you a Mothership palette. Do not skimp, do not scurry, get you one of these. If you're someone who's just truly worried about getting the bang for your buck, get this one. Because I'm absolutely glad that I have her. But if I could choose, I would personally pay to have these shades placed into one of these larger Mothership palettes. And I hope you all truly enjoyed today's tutorial. I am someone who absolutely loves the brand Pat McGrath. I have almost every single palette that she's released. I think she did release this small miniature 6-pan palette before, and the packaging on that was so small and cheap. I was looking back like, oh no ma'am, she's not getting my money for that. And I walked right past it every time. But I love the brand, I love the formula. I'm gonna continue to support them, but I have to be honest about things. I would much rather be respected by the public for my honesty than to be supported by the brands for just being able to shield and push out products. And I just want to make sure I help you all save some money. Like I said, that Mothership Mega, get her for the holidays just because those are shades we all missed out on. For these quads, sis, I wouldn't do it. That Interstellar Icon is nice for the blue, but other than that, I will grab last year's quads, and honestly, they are still available on the Pat McGrath website if you want to get those. But to me, anytime you step outside of these larger 10-pan Mothership palettes, it just seems like the brand cuts corners. I expect luxury products from a luxury brand, and these just don't say it. But they weigh almost the same because they gave you more product, but I'd rather have a smaller amount of product that comes at a higher quality, as well as a compact that's more high quality. And I will be storing these all together simply because they all are quads, and I purchased a palette divider to keep them on. But trust me, the 3 from last year will be sitting in front of the 3 from this year simply because I believe they are higher quality and I will get more use from them. But I hope it doesn't come off as sounding mean. I hope it doesn't come off as sounding like these are bad items, because they truly are good. I just think, as someone who's been spoiled before with her previous formulas, this just doesn't meet it, honey. Because the eye look here is like, baby, you saw I had no issues with the performance. This collection here to me was made for either A, those of us who are collectors and want everything. So many of us on social media and on YouTube who show off our collection, we like to have it all. If you are someone who's never tried the brand and you just want to dip your toes into it, coming in and getting these first would probably be nice, because then you'll realize, wait, if I purchase even more expensive things, things will get a little better. But to come in and say, oh, you're going to get the Pat McGrath experience with these, no you're not. No ma'am, no you're not. You're going to get a beautiful formula, you're going to get subpar packaging, and I think that really may deter a lot of people from getting them, but I'm happy I have them. Get you all the Mothership Mega, get you all a regular Mothership palette, and leave those other 3 behind. But once again, I hope you all truly did enjoy today's tutorial. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave me a comment down below letting me know if you either A, have any of these palettes, or B, if you plan on getting any of them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you already have, I would like to say thank you. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And don't forget, you still have time to enter that giveaway. You must be subscribed to the channel, and I will be checking, so make sure your subscriptions are public. And with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.